I'm not risking my health eating trash food.
Some foods are known for their unique taste, but sometimes what makes a food unique can also make it dangerous. Here are the top 10 most harmful foods people keep eating.
Very dangerous.
Soda.
Pop soda, pop soda.
Is it soda or pop where you're from? No matter what you call it, it might just be your new arch nemesis after this. At this point, most of us know to enjoy our soda in moderation. However, some people who treat it as a staple might want to be aware. This carbonated beverage is known to be extremely high in sugar and caffeine and carries all the negative effects associated with both of them. It's addicting, habit-forming, and can lead to loads of medical problems like diabetes and clinical obesity.
Wow! Whoa, I didn't even drink yet!
Not only that, but soda wreaks havoc on your chompers. Slowly but surely, soda has led to an increase in dental issues over the years. Save yourself a trip to the dentist and take care of your teeth now by brushing after you finish that can of soda. Diet soda also has an interesting set of problems. Although calorie-free and void of sugar, it still manages to be somewhat bad for you. In place of sugar, these beverages use artificial sweeteners to create their flavors. These sweeteners have been known to bring about an unusual rise in the risk of other diseases. So next time you're grabbing a can of your favorite soda, why not consider a glass of water instead? Your body and your teeth will thank you. All things in moderation, right? Hot dogs.
Hot dog. Ow!
It might come as no surprise that red meat and processed meat have come under fire in recent years for being seemingly unhealthy for the populace. Most scientific bodies recommend reducing your intake to almost zero. However, there are some people out there who wouldn't dream of giving up meat. Caught in the cross-section of both of these problems is the hot dog. It's a processed pseudo-sausage containing byproducts and cuts of red meat, making it an easy target for doctors and dietitians.
What the? Ah!
The real problem with the way hot dogs and other similar meats are processed is the added amount of nitrates and nitrites. These have both been found to be harmful when ingested regularly and in large amounts. And surprise, surprise, hot dogs are full of both. Like with most things, it's okay to enjoy a dog or two every now and then, but you might want to think about where that hot dog came from the next time there's a $1 hot dog day at the stadium. Maybe Nathan's hot dog eating competition could switch to tofu dogs instead. Casu Marzu.
Cheese, cheese, cheese!
We're not talking about some remote getaway island paradise. We're talking cheese here, people. This strange delicacy comes to us from across the Atlantic Ocean. It originates in Italy and is enjoyed both there and in France, where the true cheese lovers of the world reside. It's often consumed during celebrations or special occasions like birthdays and weddings. What makes this cheese unique is not only its taste, but its method of production. Casu Marzu literally means rotten cheese in English, and the process that it goes through is a little stomach-turning.
What do you mean?
It is made exclusively on the island of Sardinia with heritage sheep milk. And while that may sound normal, there is one little caveat. After the cheese has been fermented, it's left to rot in the elements and decompose with the help of, believe it or not, maggots. The cheese is infested with fly larvae that help break down the structure of the cheese to create a creamy, soft mixture within the rind. But it gets so much worse. Connoisseurs of the cheese largely consider it to be unsafe to eat if the maggots are dead. This means that every bite of Casu Marzu is a wriggling mouthful of insects. How appetizing. If the maggots aren't finely chewed and consumed, this can lead to digestive problems that you might not want to hear about in detail. Instead of this pest-ridden delicacy, anyone up for some good old cheddar cheese? Anyone? Fruit juice.
Fruit juice is loaded with sugar.
If you're one of the people who thought fruit juice would be a good alternative to soda, you might want to think again. Unfortunately, fruit juice falls victim to the same problem. It's loaded with sugars. And not only the sugars that companies put in their drinks to make them more palatable, but the natural sugars contained within the fruit itself as well. Normally, when you eat a piece of fruit, you're consuming more than just the sucrose inside it. Often there's fiber, vitamins, minerals, and pulp that your body needs to actively work to digest.
I need juice! People need juice!
When you consume the highly concentrated form of these fruits found in most juices, you're mostly just getting the sugar. That makes fruit juice a lot less healthy than it claims to be. The problem with juices like this and a great deal of other foods comes in the way that it's produced. If it's heavily processed with extra additives or ingredients, or exposed to great quantities of heat for an increased duration, you can generally assume that it is losing a large portion of its health benefits. Look for alternatives like cold-pressed juices. Today, more companies are making an honest effort by trying sustainable and natural farm-to-table methods of production. Make sure there's more to your juice than just a glass full of sugar. While it may be a slightly better alternative than soda, you'd be much better off just eating a piece of fruit with a glass of water on the side. Fugu.
I want Fugu!
This next entry on the list has gained worldwide notoriety, even appearing on an episode of The Simpsons. Any food that contributes to Homer Simpson's near demise might be reason enough to second guess before you put in your mouth. We're speaking, of course, about fugu. Fugu means pufferfish in Japanese, which is coincidentally where the dish is most popular. It just so happens that if it's prepared incorrectly, it will mean certain death for the diner. The digestive tract and organs of the pufferfish contain a lethal neurotoxin that is said to be over 1,000 times more deadly than cyanide.
OMG.
It's called tetrodotoxin, and one fish has enough to kill over 30 people. The symptoms include paralysis and fatal respiratory failure. Talk about a dish to die for. It's so dangerous that in Japan, you have to be licensed to even prepare and serve the dish in a restaurant. In order to procure a license, many chefs train for years on how to butcher the fish properly and safely. Even though there are deaths attributed to this fish every single year, it almost always comes down to service from an unlicensed chef. We don't know about you, but instead of pufferfish, we'll just stick to the ever-popular tuna. There's nothing dangerous about tuna, is there? Rhubarb.
Never rub another man's rhubarb.
Chances are, if you've heard of this next root, you've only seen it represented in pies. That's right, we're talking about rhubarb. This vibrant red stalk found on so many farms in North America is not all that it seems to be. It's hiding a little secret. It has dark green leaves which contain a byproduct known as oxalic acid.
Happy Leap Day, Lemon. Help yourself to some rhubarb.
The intake of oxalic acid comes with a few irritating side effects such as burning, inflammation, diarrhea, nausea, pain, digestive troubles, and respiratory constriction. Couple this with the fact that kidney stones are often associated with oxalic acid and you have one painful dessert. Although, fear not, because it's the red root of the plant that is most often used in dessert recipes, not the toxic leaves. While it's true that you would have to eat around 11 pounds of the dark green leaves, these minor symptoms are attributed to smaller doses of the root as well. So, the next time your grandma is preparing rhubarb pie, watch her carefully and make sure that she knows what she's doing. We'd hate for you to end up in the hospital because of a dessert. Nutmeg.
Too much nutmeg.
There's nothing better on a cold winter's night than a nice warm cocoa with a little bit of nutmeg, or smelling the sweet aroma of cookies with just a sprinkling of nutmeg over the top. Well, we hate to say it, but nutmeg is hiding a bit of a dangerous secret. While yes, it's an extremely popular spice that's used in some of our favorite recipes, don't be fooled by its warm smell and unique flavor. In large quantities, nutmeg can be toxic.
The secret ingredient is nutmeg.
Within nutmeg lies a special oil called myristicin. The properties of this particular oil can cause dizziness, nausea, tiredness, sleepiness, and hallucinations. It even contributes to seizures when consumed in massive doses. It's said that about 10 grams or 2 teaspoons of the spice is enough to bring on signs of toxicity. While it may not be fatal, we'd advise you not to eat entire spoonfuls of the spice by itself. Seed oils.
Sesame seed.
Over the past 50 years, there's been a massive shift in the oils that we use to prepare our foods. It used to be that in more rural settings, people relied on what was readily available to cook their food, which was most often derived from animal products. Back in those days, beef tallow, animal fat, and butter used to be the major oils that we used to cook. In recent years, it seems like the switch has been made almost entirely to seed oils. While it may be true that these oils are healthier in some aspects, their downfall lies in the process by which they are refined.
Avoiding things that are bad for your health.
Are you noticing a trend with the way that we process these unhealthy foods? In order to extract these oils from the seeds that they come from, they undergo a heavy processing regimen which causes some unwanted additives and byproducts. The raw ingredients are pressed and heated in order to yield the oil that we use to cook with. Like with many other foods, the more steps that you add to a food process, the more complications can arise. Many of the properties in these oils have been labeled carcinogens by scientific bodies, and that increases drastically when they are heated and used in deep frying. Fear not though, there are many oils that have the benefits of lighter fat and none of the drawbacks. These include avocado, olive, and coconut oils. So, while you may want to ditch the use of vegetable oil in your kitchen, you can rest easy knowing that there are tasty alternatives out there to consider. Pretzels.
Delicious. Tremendous. Stupendous.
Hold on, put down your pitchforks. It's not our fault that pretzels aren't as healthy as we once thought. In the 90s and early 2000s, pretzels were often cited as a healthy alternative to potato chips and other sodium-packed snacks. Well, the science is in and pretzels are out. It's been found that while sodium and fat is low in this snack, there really aren't a whole lot of trade-offs. Pretzels have no fiber, no protein, are loaded with refined carbs, and have no healthy fat for your body to utilize.
Or a salty sweet snack.
What they do end up being are empty calories that your body just can't quite seem to decide what to do with. If you had to choose between chips or pretzels, the answer should probably still be pretzels, but there's no need to get on your high horse about it. When push comes to shove, pretzels really are just a nothing sandwich of carbohydrates. This can even lead to a deeper level of hunger and result in overeating, which, in our opinion, slightly defeats the purpose of a healthier snack. We'll leave it up to you what goes in your pantry, but instead of pretzels, try snacks that are rich in protein or fiber, like a handful of nuts or rice cakes. We're sorry if this shocking news puts you in a bit of a twist. Energy drinks.
Monster Energy! Put it in your body and ask questions later.
What could be wrong about a can of liquid energy? Nothing, right? It pulls that energy from nowhere and fuels your body for hours on end with no repercussions, right? Wrong. Energy drinks have come under scrutiny in recent years due to their high caffeine content and shopping list full of ingredients. This includes additives like guarana, taurine, carnitine, glucuronolactone, and on and on. Not only do these ingredients have some health authorities scratching their heads, but it turns out that energy drinks have led to an increase in serious health effects, mostly plaguing young adults.
Julie Chen's energy drink, Chenergize.
This can include anxiety, heart problems, blood pressure, sleeplessness, and nervous system complications. While you may think that you're gaining energy from this beverage itself, it turns out that most energy drinks are simply amping up your body to create more energy in the moment. For every action, there's a reaction. However, and most times, you'll be paying for this with a rather painful sugar crash. When you top this off with the fact that many artificial sweeteners and sugars are used in the production of these drinks, we think that it's pretty simple to lay down judgment against energy drinks. You could put worse things in your body, but when it comes to harmful foods that we can't stop eating, energy drinks have got to be right at the top of that list. Maybe just stick to coffee instead. There are only 2 ingredients that go into that drink. We've got more. Tap or click on another video. First time here? Then hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell.